Shalom, shalom, mishpacha, warriors, mga kababayan, sugbuhanon, akong mahal nga Pilipinas. This is Yiska, your watchman and Deborah of the Philippines. If you want to know what Deborah is, please go to Judges 4 and read about her. I am here recording another session of what the King has revealed to me, ang Haring YESHUA HaMashiach. Kada adlaw is revealing things to me, and it's in relation to what's going on in the Philippines, in the world, and I'd like to share it with you, no? It was April 7 yesterday, because right now, by the way, it's 4:10. It's April 8, and we are on the 8th watch. No, we are going into the next day when the sun sets, according to the Hebrew and biblical calendar. So, I'd like to share about what God revealed to me yesterday. This was about China as the red dragon. But before that, I'll read from Revelations 13. The beast from the sea. Verse 1, Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard, his feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. Okay, the sea serpent. Actually, the sea serpent is not really China. This is a spirit, an old spirit, old serpent, found in the Bible, in the pages of the Bible, starting with Genesis, no? This is the serpent at the time that lured Eve into eating the fruit that God forbid. Okay, so Eve, because a woman that she is easily deceived when she is not submitted to her husband. Okay, Adam already knew they're not supposed to eat. Adam, I believe, told her, but what happened? She did not heed her husband's what her husband told her. So this is what happens, no, when we're not submitted. And you know, that's another lesson about women and head coverings and submission. Right now, I want to talk about the great sea serpent. This great sea serpent actually is called Leviathan in the Tanakh or the Old Testament. And it has been mentioned in the book of Job, in the book of Psalm. But I would like to read about this sea serpent in an article in Quora.com that I found by Tony Marriott. He's a researcher in biblical antiquities. He says the oldest reference to the Leviathan originates in the biblical accounts and is that of a large aquatic creature of some kind. To ask for a description of the Leviathan outside the biblical references is to ask about something before it was known or named. The Bible word for Leviathan has the root word of coiled or twisted. The book of Isaiah speaks of Leviathan, the fast-moving serpent. Leviathan, the squirming serpent, the sea monster. Whatever this monster of the sea is or was, its strength and wild nature were well known. Okay, so in Isaiah, recorded in the book of Isaiah 27 verse 1, it says here, in the day of the Lord, with his sore and great and strong sword, shall punish Leviathan the piercing serpent, even Leviathan that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Okay, so we see here that Leviathan is going to be punished by the Lord. And I created actually a tablet for that. Ayan. Can you see it? Yes. And it's with a warrior angel with a sword. Okay? So, in Facebook, it's more clear. We're going to be defeating this Leviathan. Okay, warriors? I'm going to continue with verse 5 of Revelations 13. No, actually, it's verse 4. So they worshipped the dragon who gave authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. And it was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. And all who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. And here is the patience and the faith of the saints. You know, China is a nation, okay? It's a nation that doesn't recognize God. Their leaders don't acknowledge God, just like Pharaoh of Egypt. So just like any man who doesn't have any God ruling over him, another spirit will rule over that person. And guess who? If it's not light, if it's not God, it's dark. It's going to be the kingdom of darkness, which is actually Leviathan. And you know, China has long before represented itself as a red dragon, diba? In their festivities, they're always celebrating the festival of the dragon. There's the dancing dragon every Chinese New Year. And you know, this is symbolically, you can say that they have long adopted that identity of the Leviathan, of the red serpent, because they've been rejecting God. They've been rejecting the God of Israel. And I'll just read here what I posted yesterday in Facebook regarding China. No, China is not the serpent itself, but because she does not recognize the true God of Israel, China worships itself as their own God, causing the old sea serpent to possess her. She becomes the dragon of Asia, exactly the dragon she chose herself to represent symbolically. Just like Hitler, he was not Satan, but he was a human who allowed the sea serpent Leviathan to possess him. He became the Antichrist to God's chosen people, Israel, and slaughtered so many Jews. Diba? Imagine what damage a single man can cause the Holocaust of one nation when it allows the serpent to take control of him. How much more an entire nation possessed by Leviathan? Okay? So, during this time, no, in verse 10, it said, He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. What comes to me about this word is during the time, it was 2014, that I was taken captive by a witch. No, I had a relationship with a witch. It's in my story, chapter 4, the deceived rebel. And I was taken into captive during this time. And because, you know, we are children of God, we are saints of God, also during this time, you know, something also happened in China. Something significant also happened there. Because I know that China is leading in artificial intelligence. Okay, so the reason why they are kanang really going into the research, wanting power, more power than the other nations of the world, is because they don't want to be defeated. because they don't trust God. They want to be God, so they have to be the best among the rest. They have the best military, the best warfare, weapons of war, because they're their own gods. Okay, they have to trust in themselves. They have to defend themselves. So this is how China thinks. And I'll continue in verse 11, the beast from the land. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he led 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So, the first beast was actually wounded. Okay, during the time that the corona hit China, it wounded the nation. Okay, but according to them, they're already healed, no? Because they invented a cure, some kind of vaccine to cure the corona. So, verse 13, he performs great signs so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. 15. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. So, those people who would believe that they actually have the cure, they have created the cure for the corona, will start to worship the beast this image is actually the artificial intelligence. The robots, they are now speaking, responding to humans as if they're humans. And you know what kind of blasphemy this is to God Almighty? Nobody can create human, nobody can create God except God himself. But this artificial intelligence is making God look like he is a fool, that humans can do what he is doing. And this is all lies from the enemy. Okay? So, verse 15, he was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast. China was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. So this has not yet happened. We are going into that. This corona issue is actually a conspiracy theory for world power to control the world. They're overpowering the China wants to overpower whatever nation, this nation. Everybody wants to control the world, just as it was with Hitler. He wanted to rule the world, and nobody can rule the world except the Lord, YESHUA HaMashiach. He's the King of Kings. He's the only one alone that can rule the entire nations, the entire world, because he is God, and anyone who does not bow to him will make themselves God. This is just the reality of it, people. Okay? So this is now the mark of the beast. Okay? First, China created the image of the beast, and because of this image, they make signs and wonders. They can cure the corona with their vaccines, and then they will propose a solution, which is the mark of the beast. We all know this. The Christians all know that there is a mark that's coming, that's going to control the world. Okay? So 16, it says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on the right hand or on their foreheads. 17, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. 18, here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay, so warriors, we are going into the mark of the beast, we are, if we're not going to protect our country from China entering in, influencing us, letting us cure, letting them cure us of the corona, we're going to, be subject to this. That's why, Filipinos, we need to pray, we need to pray, we need to pray that the president will not allow China to influence us, because it will be, devastation to our country. They're not here to help us. They're here to take over the Philippines. They're here because they want to take over the world. They want to implement this mark, in the right hand of the forehead. Nobody can buy. And this mark is actually, this is the image of the beast. If you get this mark, it means you worship the beast already. And God said you cannot enter his kingdom if you get yourself marked. That's why there's going to be persecution, there's going to be martyrs, and I feel sorry for the Christians in China, because they're the ones that's going to be persecuted first, they'll be killed first. And if we allow them here, then kita nasab, no? Kaya under naman ta nila. But hinaot paunta nga masabtan sa tanan nga dili na ta magsigig sukol-sukol sa atong presidente. We have to work with him. We have to work together to fight against this Leviathan spirit, because this is a very strong spirit nga wala pay tawag gyud nga mapildi na niya nga siyara. No, we have to work together. So I hope and pray that this revelation has enlightened you, that we have one enemy and we have one God. Let's all work with God to defeat his enemy, which is also our enemy. Shalom, shalom, bye-bye.